Hello everyone. This video being channeled today is on astral traveling. I got asked whether I'd been to other dimensions and astral traveled online, so I thought, oh, that'll be a fun video to do this morning. Did I astral travel last night? I did not, but I do a lot of the time. I don't recommend it because sometimes it can be quite tiring on the human physiology because when you start astral traveling, you're going into other dimensions and other vibrations, and the body needs to kind of adapt to that higher vibration. And if it's not used to it, it can kind of feel like you're in a cooker or you're going into the nuclear core of the universe, and it can cause some friction. And so when you wake up out of it or you've had those experiences, you might need to rest. Other times it's okay. I know that when I've communicated with non-physical, that used to happen a lot and I'd have to rest. And so I closed that door because it got very noisy. Because once you open up a doorway to another realm, and there's other beings in that realm that want to talk, it's like a telegram gets passed out, and everybody's like, oh, hey, Aruna wants to talk. And it's like a big party, and then you don't get much sleep. And then it can just be a bit overwhelming. And then you can just have these voices, and people show up, and diddy, diddy, diddy. And I'm like, I just want to sleep. And also, I have things to do in the physical world, and I need to have the energy to do it. And to live in another world, I can do that when I drop my body, but I'm here to do practical things and to get the job done. And some days I noticed I could get a lot of things done and be there and chatty, but I've kind of learned how to close the door, because you've got to be able to close the doors you open. And I have a lineage that I'm attached to, and I connect to my lineage if I need to close a door, if things, entities, beings are talking to me, and I want to end the conversation and they don't want to end the conversation, I have methods to very politely say, off you go, out of the house, have a nice day, goodbye, in a polite way. Um, Because once you start moving around in those realms, you can bump into things which are very different vibrationally, and some of them are astonishingly beautiful and celestial, and some of them are a little more strange, and you may have a desire to move away from it. It doesn't mean that they're evil, by the way. Evil doesn't exist. Sanskrit doesn't have a word for evil. It's just non-evolutionary. So I don't think it's helpful to talk about evil and demons, because I think it just sensitizes the nervous system. Um, but there are ways to move away from those energy fields politely. And so attaching yourself to a lineage that's very powerful is just one of those ways. Having a daily meditation practice where you transcend and you wake up a sleeping intelligence within you is helpful. I know that there's a desire for people to go and have these celestial experiences and these experiences with other beings through plant medicine and other modalities. And that's beautiful that people want to connect with things other than humans. But it also comes with a warning because if you're a shaman and you've gone into the jungle and you've spent years in silence and there's a relationship between you and the plants that's developed where you can download messages from the plants and know what to eat and what not to eat. And you're at one in nature and your physiology's had the time to adapt. And then you eat a plant cocktail that creates a psychedelic effect. You're prepared for that and your physiology can handle it. But if you're a Westerner and you rock in and you just take it and you've got toxins in your body and you haven't got, you know, the capacity to cope with that level of vibration, it could lead to some de-stressing and a lack of integration. So I always worry about a lack of integration because once you go into these higher realms, you can absorb that beauty and intelligence and stillness and cosmic insight, but then you have to bring it back into the physiology because your realization is expressed through your physiology. And so if you don't take care of your physiology, if you're not sleeping, if you're not eating well, if you're not resting, if you're not taking care of yourself, or meditating if you feel drawn to that, then when you go into these higher vibrations, they just kind of can't get reabsorbed back into the body. And so there can be these highs and lows and highs and lows, and you need to go and do it again, and then it doesn't fully integrate, you need to do it again, and then you can damage your brain. So you have to be careful of that. I personally can't do ayahuasca or any of those things because I already feel like I'm on ayahuasca. I've spoken about that before. And also, I'm just quite careful about what I put into my body. And I'm doing a lot of advanced meditation techniques, which can trigger a lot of celestial experiences spontaneously. And it's very delicate when that starts to happen because when you rise up to a new vibration, a lot of stress in your nervous system gets pulled out, and that can be very uncomfortable. So as you start to do those advanced techniques, any fear or misunderstanding or past trauma gets like pulled out at such a rapid rate. So you can end up de-stressing. You can end up going from bliss into anxiety and panic, bliss, anxiety, horror, fear. It can be this fluctuation that goes on, and you have to sometimes lie down after doing these advanced techniques, do a lot of yoga, make sure you eat correctly so that you don't de-stress. And so when you're doing that journey and you're dealing with managing that, you don't really want to add any other drugs into it because that would just be a recipe for disaster. It's not recommended. But back to the astral traveling. Astral traveling, well, how I have done it occurred, I don't know. I've always had lucid dreams, which means I've been aware that I was dreaming and I've been able to control the dream, stop the dream, change the people in the dream. Not every time I've been dreaming have I had such control. It varies. But the majority of the time, I'm able to kind of know, okay, I want to go here, I want to fly there, I want to stop the dream, I want to get out of the dream. And I'm kind of like witnessing myself when I sleep. So there's a waking state, a dreaming state, and a sleeping state. So we're in the waking state, and then we go into a hypnagogic state, which is a state which is between waking and sleeping. It's like I'm going to sleep. It's like slightly different. And so you go into that hypnagogic state, and then you go into sleep. Then you might go into a different state of consciousness, which contains the dreams. And then there's another state, which I don't think it has a name. I'll have to create a name for it. Maybe it does in Sanskrit. I'll have to do some research. Where you can go from a dream state into an astral traveling state. And so I would pause my dream, zoom into my dream, and then my physiology. I'm not asleep. I'm I'm aware that I'm dreaming, and I'm aware that I've stopped the dream, and I'm aware that if I do this, it's going to lead to this effect. So stop the dream, zoom into something within the dream, and then effects start happening in my nervous system. And then that you go into this kind of fast moving light, and then boom, you're out into an astral plane, and you can move around in that astral plane, and you never know what you're going to see or what you're going to bump into, and it can get a bit trippy, but your physiology feels very different to when you're dreaming, and it's just different. Things are different. Things are vibrant. Things are very different. And it's like, hold on tight, riders, when that happens. Sometimes I will do that consciously, like I'll go, okay, I'm stopping my dream and I'm going into the astral plane. Other times I just slip into it automatically without asking to, and then it's like, whoa. Other times a light might appear and I'll go towards the light. Other times the light might appear and I might not go towards the light. But these other states of consciousness do exist. I often thought, well, what's the purpose? I mean, what's the point of astral traveling? Well, not everybody needs to astral travel, because not everybody has the desire to, not everybody needs to. Maybe I personally need to do it because I'm more curious than another person, or because I'm pretty extreme as a meditation practitioner. It doesn't mean that I'm more awake than anybody else. It's just the way I'm designed and my life journey's going. But the purpose to it, I guess, is you do realize that there are things other than humans. There are other intelligences other than humans, especially when you have undeniable experiences. I've had clairaudient experiences where these celestial voices have started singing, and haven't stopped. It's gone on for a while, like surround sound, undeniable, or something will appear visually and it won't go away for a long time, and it's undeniable. And then you just start to realize, I don't know anything. What is this? Nobody knows anything. And I'm not mad. I don't need to be medicated, but there's so much that is unseen, that is around us at all times, supporting us, taking care of us, that we have no idea about. There are these little worker light beings that are like impulses of nature that are vibrating, that you can see after meditation, shooting around, doing things, making the whole universe work. There are angelic beings that are totally non-human. There are other things that I don't even know what they are. I don't even know. I know they exist. They're like alien things. I have no idea what they are. I'm yet to figure that one out. I might never figure it out. Yeah, it's just trippy. And I guess that people who take ayahuasca, they can really relate to this, or people who do psychedelics, they start to realize, wow, wow, there's stuff beyond the body. That's undeniable, that's there. And I do believe that these things are helpful to the human species and communicate to the human species and can give the human species upgrades. I've noticed that after I've had some celestial experiences, I've had an upgrade in consciousness. Like it's like the celestial entities kind of reprogram me a bit, and I've gone, ooh, and it's hard to put into words, but oh, I've just had a little upgrade. And we might be upgraded as a species by things that are non-human when we don't even know we're being upgraded. Just because I'm aware that I'm being upgraded doesn't mean that you're not being upgraded, even though you're not noticing it. And things from other worlds might be upgrading us all the time, might have interest in what we're doing on the planet and come to help. And I'm really into Nagaloka, which is serpents, a serpent consciousness. Because I love snakes. Snakes vibrate at such a high frequency and they upgrade your level of consciousness. That's why I keep them. And I do think that their consciousness is in a certain loka. It's called the Nagaloka and does contain a lot of cosmic information. And I will do many videos on this, but that's why snakes are always in all of the temples, always with the gods and goddesses around their head. I mean, Shiva, who represents eternal silence, Shiva, he shares an aura with a snake. He's snake. Patanjali's half snake. The sutras, the Patanjali sutras come from serpent consciousness. They're non-human. People don't talk about that. People do go to yoga studios and they do, they have the Patanjali's yoga sutras on the steps or on their yoga mats, but they don't really realize that that's not human. That's a serpent consciousness download. So life's interesting as a yogi. You get to go off into different spaces and learn more about the universe. Hmm. And I know Burning Man is coming up, and a lot of non-physical entities circle around the desert during Burning Man because they're very interested in like that celebratory energy field, the celebration and the coming together um, with this radical way of being different attracts a lot of that intelligence. So I went to Burning Man many times and I've had a connection with something strange visually just appeared when I was there and didn't go away for a while, and it was there because of the energy around Burning Man. I know a lot of people do drugs in Burning Man. You don't have to do drugs when you go to Burning Man. It's just a drug in itself. Some people don't need to do drugs. Some people are drugs themselves. They don't need to do drugs. In fact, if they do, it'll just unhinge them even more. So there's that. But yes, they do come around certain places that where humans have an intention to change or move into a new platform of awareness. They're aware of it, so they come and celebrate. They're definitely around Mount Shasta a lot. When I went to Mount Shasta, I visited some areas and there was like electricity in certain areas. There were certain waterfalls that I got attracted to that I looked at my friend. I'm like, are you feeling this? There's electricity coming off this waterfall. It's not electricity. We're not really getting electrocuted, but it was the waterfall housed a lot of non-physical intelligence. People don't talk about that, about how physical things can house non-physical intelligence. So you can have a mountain that houses a lot of non-physical intelligence. You can have a flame that houses a lot of non-physical intelligence. You can have, sorry, my mic, something that's been ignited, like a physical object with some Vedic technology that houses a non-physical family of intelligences. And some people are collectives. Some people are collectives of non-physical intelligences. Some gurus are not individuals, they're their whole lineage. So there's endless things to discuss, and I don't want to bang on about it too much in this video, but I will talk about it more and share more experiences because it's interesting. Why not? It's fun. Okay, I'm gonna go and have my breakfast now. Jai Gurudev.